Alright, welcome back, Hacks. So, I sent Reese an idea the other day. I saw it online. I can't take full original credit for it, but I liked it. And there was a lot of other stuff in the post that I didn't include, but I picked out this one idea. And I think we can solve 3 significant problems here in the West, in America specifically, by implementing this one solution. And I feel like I could get a lot of people on board with this. So the idea is that if you have a married household with 3 or more kids, you pay 0 taxes. And you could have a progressive rate, up to whatever single taxes are, for 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid. But at 3 kids, you have 0 taxes, federal income tax, that you would have to pay. And I think you could solve 3 problems with this. So A, you would solve declining birth rates. We would bring our population back up to replacement value, at least, and not have to import people from around the world. So you would prop up your own population. Problem solved number 2 is because this would include like adoptions and other legitimate, family strategies or whatever you want to call it. We would potentially empty out foster homes, reduce the number of orphans in this country. And over time, number 3, my personal favorite, is the government would have to reduce in size because lots and lots and lots of people would be getting in on this and they wouldn't have as much money to screw around with. So you would overall reduce the size of the federal government. And I'm all about that. Okay. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So let's start with whoever came up with this proposal does not have 3 children. 1. And here, you know how I know that? Or even if they do have 3 children, they must make a fuck ton of money. Mm-hmm. Because if you make middle class wages, right? If you make average wages, you will get money back currently if you are married and have 3 children. Mm. You will get money if you're married and have 3 children. The tax credit for 3 kids is $9,000 right now. It's $3,000 per kid, $9,000. That's the tax credit. So if you're a middle class person, you're married, you have a house, you have a tax write-off for your house, you get less taxes for being married, you have head of household, five members of your family with 3 dependents. You pay probably in your job, in your regular ass job, you probably pay in $10,000, give or take. And then you write off your stuff at the end, and then you probably get money back at the end based on your children and your tax credits. What you're suggesting is, we ain't doing none of that. Like, you won't get shit.
Yeah.
You won't have to pay shit.
You have to pay shit. You won't get anything back. So you're paying in 10 and you're getting back 9 and you're thankful for it?
No, with your tax credits, you're going to get a check. Like, you're going to get a check. Even if you paid $1,000 in taxes, I'd be thankful for that. Yeah. Because again... No.
What you just said was you paid in 10 and you got $9,000 back.
No, I'm just saying just child tax credits are $9,000. There are other tax write-off other than kids. Mm-hmm. So if you in your job pay in 10 and then you have write-offs, you get money back at the end of the year. Yes, that's how that works. If you have enough write-offs, you get money back. You get a tax return. Mm-hmm. That's how that works.
Right, but I mean, currently you have that standard deduction that's so high that most people don't even meet that nowadays.
Most people don't need write-offs? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand.
Yeah, essentially you just because of the raise in the standard deduction is now from 10,000 to 25,000 or something like that.
Okay.
Like that's the standard deduction that was done 2018. Whatever, I don't know. Whenever the big tax bill came through.
2017.
2017. Whatever that was.
I think it took effect in 2018. Anyway, my point is that if you pay in 10 throughout your year, you're going to have enough write-offs and you'll get money back, and then you'll have an additional $9,000. So you will get out more than you paid in. Is my point, because that's what a tax credit is. And if you take that away, what I'm saying is that shit doesn't work now. All of your problems are still there, and people get money back for being in those situations. If you have all of that, they're paying people now, not just not taxing them. They're paying people right now to be married and have 3 children. I get a check every month right now for all my million kids. I still get a check every month from Joe Biden. Again, if that's not solving the problem, you think having to pay 0 taxes is? No, that's not the problem. It's not taxes. Taxes are not the issues. The issues are motherfuckers can't afford to have kids. The wages aren't high enough for people to have kids. The wages aren't high enough for people to buy houses. You used to be able to... Yeah, it is. Hit the button. You used to be able to, on a single income, buy a house at a regular-ass job. At a regular-ass factory job. You could buy a house and support a family. You can't do that now. If you're a regular person, if you want to buy a house, you either have to go in with a buddy, or you better be fucking married. Otherwise, your ass is probably living at home. It's just what it is. I'm not even being a hyperbolist. Is that a word? Hyperbolist?
Hyperbolist?
Did I make that up?
Hyperbolic? You're not being hyperbolic? Not even being a hyperbolist?
That's what I'm... Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Shut up.
Hyperbolic. That's the word. Hyperbolist isn't a word. Anyway.
It's not a word.
Anyway, the having to pay no taxes helps rich people. It don't help regular ass folks. Regular ass folks are already getting paid for those things. Like, you see what I'm saying? So, I understand where you're coming from, but it's not real. That's not a real thing. Because again, I know because I have Brazilian kids. Like, they're everywhere. And yeah, when the stimulus checks come through, it's awesome for me because I have so many children. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, oh good, I can buy groceries this week. Oh.
It's dope as hell. Tax returns come through, and I mean we get a lot of money because we have a lot of dependents. But my point is that that's not enough to solve the issue. It's the job factor. It's the wage factor. You have to take care of maybe if we take care of the wage issue, then maybe that might work.
You guys have to budget your grocery bill, right?
Bro, you know what my grocery bill is every month?
I mean,
it's over $1,000.
Yeah, you told me when you had the 2 teenagers at home, it was like $1,200 a month.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And so we have to budget our grocery bill. But what? And again, this is the other reason I think that whoever came up with this doesn't have 3 children. Is because one, it's no longer 2-on-1. You're not running a trap game, right? It's not 2-on-2. You're not running man. playing zone defense because you're out fucking numbered, right? Like,
I remember you talking about that over Christmas or whenever we were up there last.
so you're just trying to keep them alive. Like, huh? Okay, stop. You stop that. No, you stop that. Right? And
come down from that.
And then, not only that, but parenting is hard. Like, in raising good, productive citizens is difficult, and it is ongoing, never ending, and you have to be committed. It's not something that you can just turn off and on. And I think a lot of the younger generations really kind of understand that, and they're not in a position to take care of it. You know what I mean? They're just not. One of the things that I've noticed being a teacher is that parents, they'll get upset with their kids. They'll things go bad and they'll get upset. One of the hardest things for parents is follow through and consistency. If you ground your kid, you're grounding yourself. You'll learn. When you ground your kids, you are grounding yourself, because now they can't go play the game. Now they're in your face. now they're on top of you. They're with you the whole day, and the whole time they're grounded. They're like, now when you want to sit down and watch TV, you can't, because they're not supposed to watch TV, because otherwise they're entertained and you've done nothing. The whole point of being grounded is they're grounded. No fun, sir. So now you don't get to watch TV because they're not supposed to watch TV.
You never pulled it up on your phone with the earbud in and just watched it here?
So when I had to do that, when I had to do that to the teenagers and the older kids, TV on the phone wasn't as prevalent then.
Okay, yeah.
I'm my old ass, right? So you have to remember that. Anyway, nowadays I would.
Yeah.
That's what the wife does when she's irritated with all of us, or the kids are watching something, and she wants to watch her show. She goes into the bedroom and watches her show on her TV, on her phone. Whatever. My point is that I would say 50% of the issue is well, I'd say 70% of the issue is wages, and then 30% of the issue is also responsibility. Like I believe that. I think it's like I said, raising kids is really hard, and it takes a lot, and I think a lot of people are realizing that they are not prepared for that level of commitment. I mean, I'm not sure I am either at this point. Jesus.
And you're almost 41.
What's going on there? So,
Tiny human, Mama's calling.
Can you play the ceiling fan?
Then, and then you have the less kids in orphanages in foster care. I don't think anybody's in orphanages anymore. But the people on the left, and most of the time when you talk about leftist policies, okay, most of the time when you talk about leftist policies, you're talking about things that 60 to 70% of the country agree with. Right? People don't necessarily want less government per se. They want the freedom to make their own choices. They want people out of their business, that kind of thing. But they also do want government services. People, 65% of people, and it's probably even higher now, want Medicare for all. They want universal health care. They want that.
Mm-hmm.
Like some like 50% of Republicans are on board with some form of universal health care. Why? I know why. Because costs have gotten outrageous. Because people can't afford it. I got a buddy that is a die-hard conservative. He owns his own business. He's an entrepreneur. Da 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 da. His insurance. Shh. I have no cars. Go home. Go play. He owns his own business. You know, Republican, has voted Republican his whole life. Whatever. Is on board with for all because his insurance is $2,000 a month. Did I just blink out?
No, you eventually got it. Yeah.
His insurance is $2,000 a month, and then on top of that, he has a $10,000 deductible. So that's $24,000 plus a $10,000 deductible. So $34,000 before insurance pays anything.
Dad,
34,000. What?
that's my toe.
Go tell mom.
No, can't.
And now there's another one. I didn't even see him come in.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, he came in at the same time.
This again, talking about how I know whoever came up with this shit doesn't have 3 kids, because not paying taxes is not gonna cut it. That ain't enough. I don't have any sanity left in my life. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, with my one, I figured you'd be on board with this.
I'm saying, like, right now, you get paid to have kids.
Give me the spot.
We'll go pick a different spot, baby. Go
Took my
watch my
spot.
Bros.
I don't want to.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go play then. Go play in your room.
Case in point. I'm totally gonna leave that in. That was funny. All the rest of these I'm cutting
Yeah.
out, but leave that one in.
That one?
Yeah, that particular one. He took my spot. Okay. I don't know what to tell you, kid.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Case in point. I get paid for that.
How? Let me
And,
ask you this. So, how do you? Is it all like you can't just say we're gonna give everyone wages and expect people to.
Let me add to this. Okay, hold on one second, because I haven't even talked about the most important part. Do you know how much a daycare would be for those kids, for my 3 little children?
$3,600 a month.
Easily
Yeah.
$3,600. It's $2,500 for the twins plus the little one. Okay, easily $3,600 a month, which is more than my mortgage on my giant fucking house. That's another reason why this shit don't work.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you either have to have a one person make enough money to support the entire family, single income, or you got to figure that shit out.
yeah, well, I mean, that's what we don't have our kids in the daycare.
Yeah.
Like we have a lady. Like, and there's parts of me that, you know, worries that my kids are behind or are not where they should be, you know, for school. But I mean, obviously, we read to them, and we, you know, we're working on reading. It's my goal to have them reading before they hit pre-K. But that's something that I do. I have time to do that, right? That's that's something that's important to me as a parent, and so that's something that I work on consistently.
Right.
But not everybody is that way. I just know that if you get them young and you teach them how to read young, their whole life is going to be much better. Like if they can read at a young age, their lives will be significantly better.
Yeah. Well, wife and I were talking about it the other day, is how like they went from, and I don't know if this was a federal board that did this or just the state board, but they basically went for the curriculum and they put together a list of things that like, hey, here's what a senior in high school needs to be able to do now. And they went backwards from that. And they basically had skills, like, so everything went backwards from senior in high school or whatever, all the way down to like pre-K and kindergarten. And the skills that they were saying were necessary in kindergarten, like developmentally, children aren't capable of at that age. But they were like, no, this is how it is. This is how it needs to be required. You need to have this much.
Okay, give me a little bit.
You need to have this much math awareness. You need to have this much, English and reading and writing and whatever else. And it's like a kindergartner is not physically capable of doing those things. But you guys have broken it down rather than from the bottom up. You built from the top down.
Yeah.
And even your base level puts everyone behind developmentally, and they don't have the ability to catch up until either never for a lot of them, or kids who do have parents that work with them at home and can teach them and help them develop these things at a later age, to catch up. And that can only happen after like the first or second grade, right?
Right.
After that, third and fourth grade, and start like actually getting ahead of the game again. So it's interesting. Like, yeah.
Hey there.
I'm gonna leave all this in since we were talking about the kids just yelling. I'm just gonna have your kids coming in screaming. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's all good now.
Yeah. That's how I know. This is how I know.
This is how you know. Well, the other thing
just
is
no taxes.
Well, it's like I'm thinking about this. Like, you think about like South Korea does a lot of things too, where like they over the years they've had population loss issues, and so they have implemented lots and lots of different programs. So like women, it's like a year off work, all bills paid. They pay you to go to the hospital to go like have your kids. So like there's no medical problems at all.
Oh yeah, we can add that to the
list.
$90,000 to have a kid.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? So, if we just like took South Korea's program and implemented that here, the whole thing,
That's Uncle Bob.
that might also help as well. I'd be on board with that.
Who that is. Huh?
I said I'd probably be on board with that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think it all
That's
stems.
Uncle Bob.
Yes, it is. So it all stems
And
from.
that's Dad.
Yes. It all stems from wages, man. Like people can't afford kids, and it's not enough. It's not enough to say, well, you don't have to pay taxes, because, you have to think the average, what the median income in this country, or the average income in this country, is $30,000 a year. Half of the country makes less than $30,000 a year. 70% of this country can't afford $1,000 emergency. How often I have $1,000 emergency? Once a year, but still, that's a lot.
Once a year.
Well, that's the biggest.
Once a year, you're
I
gonna
about
have
had an emergency looking at my tax returns this year. So
You gotta have some more kids.
I'll tell you this. Yeah, apparently so. I'll tell the wife that. But I was looking at. So I did all right in the stock market this year until I bought SPCE, right? And
My bad.
yeah, that's all right.
That's my idea.
But I still had all those capital gains that I had to account for, right? And so I was like doing my taxes on the TurboTax and everything. It was like, you owe $2,500 or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm like freaking out. And I get to the child tax credit stuff. And they had like $3,600 on there. And I was like, well, that doesn't seem right. Like, we didn't get that much money. So I re-entered it all, and it was like I found the old letters from the government sent us and everything, IRS sent us, and it's like, okay, we only got like $1,800, not $3,600, and it took that $2,400, money I owed down to like $234 or something like that, $280, and I was like, oh, whoosh, So I was like, yeah. But then it asks me another question of like, did you get a third stimulus check? And so I start looking through my bank records, and it's like the third stimulus check would have hit between March and May of 2021. So I was like, okay. So I start looking for it, and I'm not seeing anything. But I'm not convinced that we didn't get something. So I'm having to like try to figure out how to log into the IRS website. Oh my God, the IRS new login procedure is unreal.
Nightmarish.
Oh yeah, no, like you gotta have your driver's license, your passport. You gotta have 2 secondary forms of information. So you gotta have your insurance card and like your voter ID card, and you gotta like scan it all in, send it to them.
I blame Republicans for all of that.
And then no, this is the IRS, so this isn't even like voter stuff. This was implemented, and it will come into effect. So it started out in 2021, this IRS program. So Republicans didn't pass it. Whatever the IRS is doing is all internal to the IRS. So all of this is going on. I literally stared at my webcam for like 15 minutes the other day because it was like, we need to scan your face and compare it to your picture. And whatever. Well, my fucking license picture, I have a beard down to like my chest, right? And so I'm sitting there like scanning, and it's like, we can't confirm you, we can't confirm you, we can't confirm you. We need to schedule a video call for you to actually talk to somebody where we can look at all your documentation. So I have that scheduled like days from now, just so I can finish filling out my taxes.
That's bananas. Do you have to submit your blood too?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was joking. It was like, I was working on it last night. This was like, what are you doing? I was like, well, apparently I've got to get a blood sample, a stool sample, a urine sample, a semen sample, eye gout. Like, they want some eye boogers too. Like, I got to scrape my eye boogers and like put them in a jar and send it to them as well.
It's funny.
It's a lot. It's time to brush your teeth.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of boogers.
So, and he's had a sinus infection, so that's been great.
Oh, yeah,
just neon snot bubbles all day.
Dope.
Yeah. He's got 2 little trails just constantly coming out.
Yeah.
We're having to like put Vaseline on his lips so it doesn't chafe everything off.
Do you do the little the nose squeezer thing where you run the water through it?
No.
Yeah, you gotta get one, and then that's fun. So then one of you has to hold the baby, and then the other one has to squeeze the water through the nose.
I don't think she's gonna go for that because you remember the story of the Nagiri Fowlery that happened in my town?
No.
So there was a splash pad. This is a true story. This kid actually lived, his mother, so his parents were divorced, but his mother lived up the street from me. And he was playing at the little town splash pad. It was like right outside the Civic Center. Really all it is just sprinklers that come out of the bottom, right? And,
yeah, I know what a splash pad is.
Yeah, so he got the water up his nose, up his nose and got a deadly brain fungus that took him out. And it was this like 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, but
So
you just
so putting
that's
water
not your-
like scarred
it's
her
not
for
your
life.
drinking water.
Oh, it was. It was the potable water from the city. It
Oh,
was. They had like there was a big thing where we had to like the whole city lock down its drinking water until they could confirm that everything was clean.
Oh wow.
No, it was a big deal around here, and so like she was freaking out because we'd given him a bath that night, and she was like, "Oh my God, we splashed his face," and I'm like, "Yeah, we did. Like this is really bad. Like it could be, because he was. I think this was like 2 years ago, so like he was like 6 months old, maybe, when this happened. So it was bad. So I don't think she's gonna go for the squirty nose water thing.
Well,
Unless we like boil it here and then.
Yeah, that's what I would do. It's very helpful, actually. Like it really helps, and especially helps before the nasal infection sets in. But my point is it's one of those things where you're like, okay, here we go. I got the baby, ready, go. And then you're like, have to hold their face.
Yeah, like holding their arms and face still. Doing like a rescue carry for someone with a neck injury.
And so you, not only is the baby going to get drenched, but you will also get drenched. So
you put him in a full Nelson and just like hold him sideways.
It's kind of one of these. I'll show you. So you grab them, you hold their arms with one hand, and you hold their face with the other.
Oh, he loves it.
Yeah. And then you do this thing. It takes two people. You can't do it by yourself.
You can't do it by yourself.
But it actually works. I hate it, and I do it to myself every once in a while when I can't get rid of the sniffles. Because there's also a saline solution that you put in there too, like some kind of something.
I don't like it.
Put in there. Huh?
So I don't like it.
No, it's awful. It's awful, but it works.
I don't like it.
Going over? Okay, good.
Gonna get kicked in the head.
Go! Oh, I thought he fell.
Oh, kids.
Yeah. So I had to do a presentation. We're doing a boot camp in athletics for our football team, and so like this whole week has been like mostly like learning and meetings and that kind of stuff. And so like all the coaches had a presentation, and one of the things that we have as part of our core values is family, as an acronym, which stands for Forget About Me, I Love You. And so I had a whole presentation about it, and I went through it, but I was like, I got up there and I was like, everybody knows why I got this topic. It's like, because I'm the one with the Brazilian kids. Okay. All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Yep, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to go. You've had the crowd. He's making faces. That's adorable.
I've had them all day.
All day.
This whole time.
The whole time. It's gonna be fun to try and edit some of this.
So, yeah. Sorry.
That's all good.
Sorry about that.
I still have the 2 videos from last week I need to put out too, so we got that going for us.
I've been chastised since we've been back up. I haven't done any of the Spotify stuff, so I need to get that rolling. I've been chastised by my oldest son, the 21-year-old. 20. He's not 21 yet. He's the 20-year-old. To get our Spotify updated. So I will be working on that.
Good times.
It's part of
Yeah. It's part of the deal. All right, well, you got your hands full. I'm going to go see what's going on.
All right. BroPartisan's out.